Good afternoon, and welcome to the CNY Electrathon competition here at Oswego Speedway. I'm Trevor Bradshaw, here with my colleague Alex Hessig, and we have a little bit of an overcast day here. Alex, what's the weather looking like?
Well, the worst is behind us. It's still pretty cloudy, but after the rain passed this morning, it stayed just with an overcast. Track is cleared up. No more chance of precipitation throughout the day. However, going into the weekend, it's going to be beautiful with little to no chance of precipitation, and that's going to be great for W Bucks coverage of both lacrosse games tomorrow, Saturday, against arch rival Fulton in the Capture the Cup contests.
And also, we'd like to thank these people who helped us make this event possible. First, we have the Kemper family, the Jaskula family, Dager Photography, Malone's Garage, Ontario Metal Fabricators, Inc., Down Austin Masonry, Cakes Galore, Torbert Service Center, Reagan Auto Sales, Car Carl's Sharpening Service, and Berger Construction. All right, so this race. Now the rules are it's a 60-minute race. So these have all been cars that have been produced by local schools around New York State. And the winner will be determined by the car that completes the most laps. So it's not really like a head-to-head race like something you'd see on TV with NASCAR, IndyCar, anything like that. It's whatever car can complete the most laps by the end of the race.
I most certainly agree. Um, some of the rules are no hitting. You have to stay on the inside track. So we're taking a look at the Oswego. Taking a look at the Oswego roster. Team advisor is Matt Bach. Roster is made up by Oswego High School students, including Colin Balu, Sean Benjamin, Joshua Bucher, Elena Celeste, Mitchell Cook, Zachary Dehar, Jake Gardner, James Jaskula, Alex Johnson, Kyle Kemper, Matthew Lewis, Andy Osetic, Jacob Sweeney, Mark Tormina, Eric Yurkon, Jake Sivers, Robbie Bruce, Zach DeSacia, and Zach Bush.
And just a little side note, Matthew Bach is actually the organizer of this event. So special thanks to him as well. Now the cars are starting to get set up on the track. There's a little bit of fog coming in here at Oswego Speedway. So the race is about to get underway here in a minute or so, and they're just waiting for the final preparations to begin the race.
I'm really looking forward to see how these cars turn out. Heard they go about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I agree.
It's all built by students.
It'll be interesting. It's something you don't necessarily see every day. And these cars, they're, like you said, it's something you got to remember about how never mind. If you're just going to make fun of me, it's okay.
It's okay.
Forbes, you good over there? We're starting soon. Put it underneath the camera case. Hold it half.
As I was going to say now, Alex, the cars are all student produced, so it's something that
Just like
really.
Buck TV.
So it's really something that you have to take into consideration, that this isn't something that's professionally done. It's really intriguing that this can all be produced by students.
There's no way we're going to be done by 2:30. What? Oh my God.
It's nice to see the track finally pretty cleared up. When we got here this morning, a lot of rain overnight, left the track with a lot of puddles on it. And they really had to work to get it dry for this race to happen.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting because they had a Swico Speedway truck dragging around a little group of tires just to do little laps around the track just to try to dry it up, and it's worked out well. Track is now dry and ready to race, and they're pretty lucky that the weather held up with how cold and windy and overcast it is today.
You know, I saw those tires getting pulled. I wanted to jump on one of them, like a little tubing ride.
Like a little water tube, but on pavement?
Yeah, except that probably hurt pretty bad if you fell off.
Yeah, I would definitely not want to fall off one of those.
No, don't worry about it.
Side note, the batteries in these cars, if even a little bit of water gets on them, won't work. So the rain and the weather was definitely a huge factor heading into today. So it's really fortunate that the precipitation moved through overnight and early morning, and we're able to get this in today.
Yeah, like I said, they're really lucky. Fortunate that everything held up and they can have an awesome thing like this still come through.
I don't know if we're going to be back in time for 2:30. Is that going to be an issue? Tell him I'll bring the phone back.
Now, some of these teams are very experienced, such as Harpersville, who placed third in their last race.
Well, that's interesting.
And then there's teams like Oswego who participated in this 2 years ago. They didn't last year, but now they're back in it. And as you said, Matthew Bach was the organizer of this event this year.
And they also said that they've been working for this race about the past 3 months. So a lot of work goes into this. People watching this might not necessarily see that. They'll see the car and think, oh, that's just something they made in school for a class or whatever. But this really takes a lot of work, and it takes kids who have a higher level of thinking and when it comes to technological stuff like this.
Yeah, this could be almost the equivalent of playing a sport, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I put a lot of time into it. After
Something you really got to work at. I most certainly agree.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
And now they're clearing the track of all the other people on it and getting ready to go here. You know, Alex, I almost wonder if the wind will be a little bit of a factor in these. This is kind of like smaller cars.
And we're off.
Oh, what's up with
You know, another thing is, Oswego has a little home track advantage here. Most of these schools traveled a very long distance to come all this way, like Oneida, over 70 miles to come to this event.
Wow. Yeah, but can't be that much of an advantage because it's not like they ever really get to practice racing here.
And out to the quick start, Ira in the number 95 car.
Most of the cars coming around turn 2 or neck and neck right behind each other.
We see a couple cars getting off to quick starts here. And there's that group. talked about earlier, the work that goes into constructing these cars, and most of the schools here, their teams are made up of about 15 to 20 kids who help make this happen.
Yeah, it's definitely a cumulative effort and group effort.
I think here we see a maker of the cars.
And the Troy Riveras, now this is a college. Now, technically in this race, they're racing in a different division, so technically they're not competing against a lot of these high schools. But their advisor is Stéphane Boudard, and the roster is, the first one is Luis Felipe Grandin, followed by Bastien Duchesne Lacaine, William Bourque, Cedric Boissadior, Samuel Debord, Yannick Godin, Alexandre Moreau, Adrian Villete, Matthew McGee Denot, Maxime Paquette, and Simon Buffard. And also, I'd like to apologize for any mispronunciations, as I didn't really get a chance to talk a lot of these crew members, ask them how to correctly pronounce their name. You know, Alex, I'm kind of impressed how fast these cars really go. You don't really think that they'd be able to go that fast, but it's really quite impressive how fast they do go.
Yeah, they all do go pretty fast, and it is noticeable, though, how there's 3 or 4 cars who are really a step above the rest of the pack and really flying right through this track.
I thought the Canadian school was like green and yellow.
Now, one change in the cars recently that's been noted is the fronts of the cars have to be rounded and can't be a pointed tip to their car.
Now the number 96 car, Harpersville, they kind of have an interesting design to their car. It's unique compared to the others.
Now, one cool thing is most of these cars are made from kits.
I did not know that.
Now, the car I've really been impressed with is the Palmyra car. It's really going pretty fast.
It's just flying around the track right now.
Seems like every time I look right at turn 3, they're just there every time.
All right, and as you'll see on your screen, here is the roster for Pittsford Mendon High School. Now this school actually has 2 cars in this race. It's the 585 and the 472. And the 472 is driven by Bella Whitman, and the 585 is driven by Chris Evans. The team advisor is Scott Bannister. The roster consists of Troy Bama, John Beldner, Chris Evans, Hasif Habib, Kerry Morrow, Alex Frod, Ben Pilko, David Pilko, Emil Reynoldson, Sam Schubert, and Bella Whitman. Now, actually interesting with the Pittsburgh school, their cars were made in 2006, and since 2006, they've really just been working on at it in preparation for these races. Now, throughout the production of these cars, they've had many issues, obviously, doing it for so many years. And they actually had 20 to 25 students overall building it, although there are only 10 here today. And interesting, the drivers of these cars for this team, they haven't really raced before, and they wouldn't really consider racing a hobby of theirs. So, interesting to see how they do.
I agree. Now the driver of the Palmyra car, Andrew Callahan, he's really doing well so far as he comes around turn 3 again. Also, Swigo car is coming through right behind Palmyra.
What's also interesting about these cars is they don't really make a lot of noise. And most people, I know I'm one of them, they mostly just watch races on TV, and you see these races having loud, noisy cars. Even just races here at Oswego Speedway, where we're from, you think race cars and you think of the loud noises, and these cars really, they aren't that loud. So
We see the Pittsford car coming in for a pit stop. The 585. Now we'll take a look at the Oneida High School roster. They had to trek a long way to come up to this race, about 70 miles. Their team is led by advisor David Wright. The roster is made up of students Logan Doran, Ben Wheaton, Derek Conley, Dylan Prey, Caleb Fields, Dante Pagan, Jacob Phillips, Matt Infernato, Miles Partatello, Rylan Baker, and Tanner Farr. Sorry for any mispronunciations there. As Trevor said earlier, we didn't really get a chance to talk to many of these players or crew members beforehand, so it's always interesting. Now the Oneida team, they ran across some issues when building their car. They had some control issues and with some of the turning and furting. And their team was made up of about 12 students, so falls a little below the average of about 15 to 20 we've seen on most of these squads. And this is Oneida's 5th year in the Electrathon races. know, Trevor, one car I like the looks of is the 747 car from Onondaga. I like the silver look to it.
Silver and green, it definitely looks pretty sharp, unique.
Indeed. Or as you like to say, indubitably.
Don't say that word.
Sorry.
Wasn't the right time. Okay, he just kind of ruined it.
Yeah. It's always a
I-
risk when using new words.
I applaud the effort, though. Even though you are a disloyal person.
A lot of action on turn 3 right now as most of the cars just came around.
Come out and follow all of them. Oh, we get a follow on server here.
Yeah, another observation I've made is the Choice Rivera car is slowing down substantially. Number 25 car. As that could be an effort to save power. Battery power.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be some strategy that goes into this, and they have an hour-long race, and they're trying to get the most laps possible. Everybody has to know their car and each car's strengths and weaknesses, exploit their strengths and weaknesses to the best of their ability in order to put together a good race and try to win.
Yeah, we gotta tell the commentators.
As you'll see on the screen, the graphic for the Onondaga Central High School team and their car number 747. They're led by their team advisor, Robert Marathu. The roster consists of Kevin Gillerin, Wissam Ashikar, Elizabeth Moore, Shane Moore, Charlissa Cook, Robert Cruz, Safiso Naomi, Benjamin Posnick, Andrew Coach, Megan DeBella, Daniel Casper, Nicholas Hay, Nate Muir, Bragwin Smith. And now, Alex, at Onondaga Central High School, that was the car that you made the comment about the design that you liked with the silver and green.
I do enjoy a nice sleek silver.
Palmyra has 24 laps. Oswego has 20. And Pittsford and Livonia have 20.
Yes, they do.
Oneida and Onondaga have 19 laps.
Pittsford's second car, only a 7. That may have been the one we saw enter the pit that was having some trouble early on. Now the Oswego cars hasn't been the fastest, but it's been very consistent so far, keeping good speed. And they stayed up there so far. I'm pretty impressed with their performance.
Yeah, I agree, Alex, and I'm interested to see if they can hold that out and maintain that for the entire race. Still a lot of time left.
Yeah, it looks like the sun's coming out a little bit, a little brighter.
I don't see it.
Well, I don't see the sun actually, but maybe the cloud coverage.
Yeah,
is
maybe it got a
lessening
little brighter. Maybe the fog is letting up a little bit.
All good news here at Oswego Speedway.
Oh, we got a big group. We got a big group.
It appears as the number 81 car is really slowed its pace.
Surprised they didn't go into the pits there. Maybe they're just trying to conserve some energy. Can't really know for sure. And the number 25 car, Troyes Rivera, they're kind of slowing down too. They're getting passed by many cars.
Yeah, the Troyes Rivera car. Mentioned that earlier. Yeah, and that's a college team participating in a different division, but still here with all the other high school teams. Another thing I've noticed last couple turns, it's been Oneida and Onondaga, one behind the other. So they've been trying to keep pace with each other. It's been pretty cool to see. Here comes Paul Myra right around Oswego on turn 3. Myra's just kept up that rapid pace the whole time.
And now the Oswego car is heading into the pits.
Yeah, one thing to keep your eye on, every 20 minutes, each car has to come in for a mandatory pit stop, minimum 15 seconds, so you just check the car. So you can see some cars go in there that are running just fine, but just following the rules laid out for them. And the Palmyra car is entering the pits as well. And Oswego is heading back out.
And you know, adding the pit element into the rule with that really just add another element to the strategy. You know, they're trying to conserve energy, to time when they're going to go take pit stop. A lot goes into this race.
There goes the Troyes Rivera car on turn 3, followed by Onondaga and Oneida.
Now the number 81 car will take their pit stop. They seem to have been going kind of slow around the track, so maybe you wonder if that has anything to do with it or if they're just taking their mandatory pit stop right now.
They're switching drivers on my camera right now.
And it appears as though in the pits, number 81 car are switching their drivers. So there's quite the commotion going on over there. A lot of people attending to the car.
The Palmyra car just came around on turn 3 after their pit stop, and they are still going at that exceptionally fast pace that they really set the bar early on.
You know, Alex, I think the sun is actually starting to peek out. You were right. I think you just called it a little early.
Well, I am the weather guy today on this broadcast.
You didn't say it was going to be sunny today, though, did you?
I did. I knew it was going to clear up later. I got a tennis match on the agenda for later.
Who are you playing?
Heading up to Marcellus. And then we take on Fulton tomorrow in the Capture the Cup contest. W Park will be covering the lacrosse games later on in the day. Boys and girls games kicking off at 1 o'clock. And here we see that group of about 4 cars heading around turn 3 again, led by Onondaga.
No, I'm 2.
And in the back of that group is Livonia.
Wait, so the monitor that the commentators are seeing isn't the monitor that you guys got?
I like the designs on the Palmyra and Oswego cars. They both have incorporated lightning bolts into them. And we see Troy Severa's car coming in for a pit stop. We'll see if maybe something happens, if they can pick up the pace a little bit. They seem to be going a little slower than the rest of the field.
Hey Tanner, you want to bring me up a piece? Yeah.
Seen the Palmyra car slowly work its way up, and they've now surpassed that group of 4, which has been led by Onondaga, who just came into the pits just now. And coming around turn 3 is Oneida, followed by Oswego.
Now, Livonia High School, they're also another visitor here for the CNY Electrathon race. Their car is the number 544, led by Greg Golding. The roster that's here today consists of Aaron Falkenberry, Hayden Carl, Travis Blodgett, Ethan Zilglock, Paul LaRue, and Elias Perano.
Looking at their roster, they have substantially less members than most of the other schools here.
But at the same time, you don't know that could technically be because what they have here as opposed to who actually built the car.
No, you have to move like you have to go like this.
Now, Livonia, they started preparing their car September of 2014. And this is the first race for their drivers in the Electrathon races. But their school has been participating in these Electrathon races for 3 years now. And when they were building their car, a lot of their issues that arose were just from trying to perfect their car. But they also said that they had some canopy issues. And Alex, I actually take that back what I said before. They said they had 6 listed, and actually only 6 students participated in the building of this. So that's quite impressive in itself, just that they had such a little amount of people participating
It is.
compared to the rest of the field.
And sometimes less is more, with less opinions and stuff like that. Something like this, it might even be more effective to have a smaller group building something like this.
Yeah, definitely less butting of heads.
But at the same time, on the other, the flip side of that argument, more help, the better. More hands
Yeah.
always makes for easier work.
Definitely had less hands, so see if that affects their car at all.
Belongs to that Harpersville team. I can bring it over to him.
Foam noodles.
You know, the sun's peaked out almost so much that I regret not bringing a pair of sunglasses.
Oh, this one's slowing down. Ooh, wow.
Second, my battery's running really low. My battery. Someone hand me a battery.
You know, Trevor, I've been impressed with the resurgence of the Pittsford car we saw going to the pit earlier. They've come back out and they've shown a speed almost up to par of the Palmyra car.
Yeah, I'd agree. They definitely did have to turn things around for sure.
Stay off me. I have to get a new battery. Yeah. Habib. Habib. Yeah. Get off my camera.
Alright, there's only cars moving by.
Okay, am I back on?
Follow shot of servers. Oh, here we go, here we go. Oh, this car's coming close to servers.
And Livonia car is in the pits. So is the Pittsford car, 585. Also, the number 81 cars joined the other two in the pits.
Oh, watch out, this car's coming past. Here we go.
Do you want me to stay where I am or go back to the top? Oh, did I turn it? Wait at the right time.
Tell you what, Alex, the sun did come out, but it definitely hasn't warmed up at all. Still slight wind here, just enough to chill you a little bit.
It is, but it has gotten a little nicer thanks to the sun peeking out a little. I mean, it was freezing before. I'm still cold, but not as bad. Certainly not as bad.
When you compare it to the winter we had this year,
Don't even get me started on that, Trevor.
this is almost like nothing. This is almost like summer weather compared to the below zero temperatures we had all winter.
Hey, today's the first day in a week I've had to wear pants. Been rocking some shorts the last couple of days. It's been nice.
Glad you said shorts.
Me too. There goes the Palmyra car. And now they're heading into turn 3. No, I will say this is my first time I've ever been to the Speedway, and I would say it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I came here a few years ago. Came here with my uncle. I was pretty young back then, so it's been a while, but that's the only time I've ever been here. Just as cool as I remember it.
been impressed with that haven't really talked much about is the Livonia car.
It's the number 544 car.
They've kept up a good pace. Oh, here we take a look at the leaderboard. Pittsford is in first place with 40 laps, followed by Oneida. Oh, my bad. Palmyra is in the lead with 49 laps, followed by Livonia at 43, then Onondaga with 41, Oswego at 40, Pittsford also at 40, Harpersville at 36, Troy Cervera at 35. Oh, Oneida is also at 36. And the other Pittsford car, which had some difficulties early on, is in last place with 32 laps. And that same Pittsford car came to a stop, and they're running it back into the pit again. What do you think of that, Trevor?
I think it's really unfortunate. You got to feel for him at this point.
You do. But the good thing Pittsford has going for them is they have 2 cars in this race.
And also with that, there's also approximately 20 minutes left in this race. It's kind of flying by, just like the cars.
Yeah, thanks to the electric pace.
I see what you did there.
Yes, as we are at Electrathon.
Yes, that was the joke.
It is. It was. It was in the past. The joke was told a minute ago.
Indubitably.
Another team here participating is Harpersville. They're the number 96 car, led by Michael Ramsden. The roster is made up of Timothy Bazooka, Devin Butler, Devin Dean, Taylor Hansen, Elijah Joyce, Ryan Katchmar, Corey LeClaire, Peter Mutz, Garrison Paw, Devin Ritter, Dylan Robinson, Matthew Scott, Zachary Waterman, Mitchell Weist, Jason Brovica, Andrew Brooks, Noah Dan, Colby Foster, Joshua Greer, James Havens, Colby Hendrickson, Jacob Horasecki, Robert Hosmer, Jacob Peterson, Sean Sweet, and Derek Wilson. They also have, my bad, earlier I said 1 car. They are made up of 2 cars, so that's why there's so many crew members.
Alex, the second car you mentioned from there was 081, so that's their second car. So 96 and 081.
He's doing nothing. He's in the trailer. He's right by the door of the trailer. Oh, he just walked out. Oh no. No.
So with approximately a little under 20 minutes left in this race, you see Palmyra holding on for the win, Trevor?
Yeah, I mean, nobody else is really competing with them from the looks that when I've seen. They're still just going right around the track.
Well, the thing I've been surprised with is the college representative here, Troy Cervera. They have really been below what I expected. Before the race, we heard some of these cars would be around 35 to 40 miles an hour, and we heard they could possibly be up to 50 miles an hour, but I don't know what could be playing into their, lack of better words, underperformance here today. I would say it's pretty noticeable. Most of these cars are losing some steam here towards the end. And we'll see if maybe some of the other cars that were slower in the beginning have picked up maybe a little more of the electric pace and can make this a little closer. Close the gap on Palmyra, who was residing in first place last time we checked the laps leaderboard.
How you doing, Buck? Good. Oh, there's Rivers coming up.
And we see the Oswego car heading into the pits.
And they've already had one pit stop, I believe, so this is the second one. I wonder what
We'll
this
see.
one's
This might be their last little tune-up before the home stretch here.
Now, as you see in the leaderboard, Palmyra is still in first place with 57 laps, followed by Livonia, 51. Pittsford's right behind them with 49 laps. And Onondaga is 49. Harpersville has 40 laps. Oswego has 40. Troyes Riveras has 42. Pittsford has 32. Nida has 38. Harpersville is left 28, their second car.
Well, Palmyra is still holding on to that first place slot. We saw Troy Severa moved up a little bit in the leaderboard right there.
Coach always tells us 2:45, and then the bus, or 3, and then the bus gets there at 2:45.
Oswego's been in the pit for a little while right now. Wonder what's going on down there.
Where is he?
He doesn't leave without anyone. He says he will, but he won't. He never does. He'll be like,
Where's Jake?
The Palmyra car certainly kept up its pace, and I think that's definitely can be accredited to them retaining that top position on the laps leaderboard up to this point, heading into this final stretch of the race.
I'm on 3.
I really will say this race it's flown right by. It's gone very quick.
Yeah.
Chase, how much time?
Now there's about 9 minutes left in the race.
Oh, we got a car pulling in.
Now the number 96 car of Harpersville is heading into the pits.
Oh, I see that Oswego car.
Oswego car seems to be struggling a little bit. They're almost at a crawling pace compared to what they were doing before.
So now we'll take a look at the leader of the race, Palmyra High School's roster. Number 95 car, team advisors, Marcel Jeanette, John Burgess. The crew is made up of students Andrew Callahan, Travis Manley, Chris Waite, Cole Cappan, Grace Karnowski, Noah Holbridge, Charlie Holbig, and Corey Kramer. That's another one of those smaller crews that we've seen, and obviously the smaller number hasn't had a negative effect as they are in first place right now.
This is true.
And at Palmyra, this is their third year participating in electrathon races. And the only issue they said they ran across in preparing their car was came with the wheels.
Surely when your only problem is associated with wheels, then obviously, hopefully you're not going to have many problems. As is shown today, they don't have many problems.
Now we see the Oswego car coming by us right now, and they've certainly lost a lot of speed compared to where they were earlier in this race.
Good, that second. 96.
Oh, whoa, look at Look at White.
The Troyes Rivera car certainly picked up a lot of steam here towards the end.
They must have been saving their energy.
Maybe that's been their strategy, make a late comeback.
Might be a little too late, though. Guess we'll see.
Here comes the Palmyra car, which their speed has dropped substantially, along with most of the other cars that were near the top of the leaderboard. But Troy Rivera making that late push. But will it be enough? That is the question. One of the questions. Another question is how many licks does it take to get the center of a Tootsie Pop?
It's irrelevant to this race, Alex. Did I give you permission to say that?
You did earlier. You said I used it at a wrong time.
That was also a wrong time. It has to be a right time if you're not the one who usually uses that word. You're using it to make fun of me, as you did at the beginning of the race, too, when I tried to explain things.
I just think it's an interesting word. But
Yeah,
on a side note,
right.
the number 32 car has just pulled into the pits, Oneida. So we'll have to keep an eye on all that as we head into the waning minutes of this race.
It's not just
Looks like this one might
one
be
or
going
two
into-
cars. It's all the cars seem to have substantially slowed down. Except for the Troy Rivera's car, they seem to have picked it up.
Yes.
They were slower from the start. Now they're really speeding it around while the other cars are slowing down.
I guess the strategy is just picking and choosing your spots when you want to go full speed. And the Pittsford cars also kept up a pretty good pace, and they weren't too far off the lead last time we checked the laps leaderboard.
So they're just trying to push it out here at the end of the race.
And the Oneida car is sent back out to see what they can do in the final moments of the Electrathon race here at Oswego Speedway.
Did they stop? Oh, hold up. Oh my god. Oh, we got some cars coming in.
Well, the storyline I would say in these final moments is I'm interested to see the jump that the Pittsford car, the 472 car, and Troy Rivera, how far they move up on the leaderboard, because their pace has been substantially better than the teams ahead of them last time we checked.
I think they had to have made a big jump in the leaderboard as far as that.
I mean,
I'm finding it. Okay. Oh wait.
the Palmera car really had a substantial lead on everyone else, but this huge gap in speed near the end could really made up that, and maybe we'll have a new leader next time we check out the standings. And we have a minute and a half left here. And it looks like the Oswego car is done for the day as they are in the pits and have removed parts of the car as the driver is exiting. Good performance from Oswego today, but their day ends a little early.
Now there's 1 minute left here in the race. And this final push here at the end. Some cars are inching their way toward the end, and a lot of cars are speeding up, trying to get their last laps in. Interesting to see what the final leaderboard looks like.
Did I just say I'm got it?
And we'll see if these cars can get one more lap in quick before the race is over. And we see the finish flag waving as the cars come in.
Now the race has come to an end here. These teams are finishing off and going into the pits. We'll have a leaderboard for you folks here momentarily.
I was very impressed with this race, Trevor.
Yeah, it really surprised me. I did never seen anything quite like this before. It was really interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect heading into this because I've never even been to the Speedway before or anything really to do with racing, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it turned out overall pretty well. Obviously, people want to see the fast cars going 200 miles an hour, but something like this, you really have to be appreciative of the quality of work that goes into this and how well a lot of these teams were able to put together a car to successfully participate in this race.
Good job, Severs. How many laps did you get, do you know? 23. Let's go for down because I want to be back by 2:30. That's what my Poland is. Are all the car? Hey, are all the cars off the track?
All right, and here's the final leaderboard, and I'll give Alex the honor of reading them off for you.
And the winner is Palmyra, 68 laps, followed closely by Pittsford with 65. So Pittsford's late push obviously wasn't enough, but they really made things interesting there. Troy Cervera came in with 59. Following them, Onondaga with 58. Oh, Livonia had 59, just right ahead of Onondaga, tied with Troy Cervera's. Oswego, 48 laps. Oneida with 43. Harpersville with 42. The other Pittsford car, 585, had 32 laps. And Harpersville had 29 laps, finishing in last.
That was their
number
second
81
car.
Yes.
Overall, a great race for all the teams, I'd say. And once again, we'd like to thank all the sponsors for making this event possible. And thank you for watching. This has been WBUC Production. I'm Trevor Bradshaw.
And I'm Alex Hessig.
Goodbye.